This February marks the 131st anniversary of the Black February floods that happened 131 years ago. And I thought, why don't we mark that anniversary by going through the archival footage and comparing those pictures with the same landmarks of today. Our first picture is the Albert Bridge in Indooroopilly, but this picture was taken after it broke. Do you see where the water is? That's high tide. But when this bridge broke, which is this one here, the water was up to here, which is insane. From what I've read, it acted like a dam for all the garbage that washed out of Ipswich, and when it snapped, it sent a tidal wave of garbage downstream. But before I show you any more photos, let me show you the enormity of this flood, so the rest of these photos actually make sense. So this is how far the water came up in 2022, 2011. So you can see the picture there where the water came up to. And then up here is a 1974. And then, if you go further up, look, way up there, you have the 1893 flood. So look, this flood was absolutely massive. Going back to tidal waves of water and garbage, there was this neighbourhood for the rich who had homes with water views called Oxley Estate, and golly, were they about to view some water, because every single one of their houses washed away. Here's one of them at West End. Here's a picture of the Queensland National Bank at 308 Queen Street. For context, that's here. So yeah, this is the Queensland National Bank, and if you look in the picture, all of this area was underwater. That's absolutely insane. That's crazy. You look at the picture and old mate standing over there, he's sitting in the thing, and there's like people, there's water up to about there somewhere. That's just, of course a box goes in my way. It's just nuts. But imagine this, all underwater. Now if you thought this photo was crazy, try and wrap your minds around this one, because what you're looking at is this. It's Fishbowl on Adelaide Street. So according to my picture, all of this Creek Street, this is the corner of Adelaide and Creek Street goes down there. Creek Street was all underwater. For context, I'm at the front of the koala shop thing, the fishbowl thing. That's insane. The water came up to here, apparently. It actually came up a little bit further up the street. If you look at the picture, holy shit, that's a lot of water. That steamboat is near the intersection, so I'm guessing where that horse is about where the blue truck is parked. This insane picture is the Queen Street Mall. So, during the peak of this flood, the GPO became a refuge. It actually became an island, which is bizarre. So there was water down there, but all of that was underwater. So, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, this picture was taken just down from the post office. So if you look down Edward Street towards Tattersalls, you'd see this. But this level of flooding is nothing compared to what I'm about to show you. Check this out. Yup. You're looking at the Watson Brothers building. That's near the corner of Albert and Margaret Street, and look how deep that water actually is. Just for context with this photo, this archival shot, that up there is George Street and we're on Margaret Street, right? That building just there, the one you can see the writing on, is the same big building that the boat is going past. So the boat is up to there. That's how high this water was. It was all the way along here. Isn't that absolutely insane? Old mate was going past about here in a boat. Row, row, row your boat gently down the street. Merrily, 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 isn't life a treat? Hey! So, if you come to the Botanic Gardens, you will find this thing here. This is the old curator's house. If you read the sign, it says that its predecessors were wrecked by weather events. And here's a picture of it getting wrecked by this weather event. Then the forward-thinking council of the day was like, I reckon we should build another one in the same park, in a known floodplain. So they did. Speaking of egregious acts of silliness, remember I spoke about that tidal wave that rushed down the river? Well, it hit several breweries like this one, and all the barrels washed out, which caused drunkenness and fights all over the city. Here's a bloke actually in a barrel. Apparently, another major pastime during this event was betting on what other major piece of infrastructure would be washed into the sea next. As I understand it, lots of people placed bets on the Victoria Bridge. But just like the Albert Bridge before it, it too got washed away. A couple of other things that got washed away were ships. Here's a picture of the 360-ton warship Paluma that got washed into the Botanical Gardens. It wasn't alone, several other ships ran aground there too. There were very few people who profited from this flood, but the contractor who agreed to refloat the Paluma was definitely one of them. See, the Black February floods weren't just one flood, they're actually a series of floods that happened one after another. Because this contractor set the princely price of £7,000 to get the Paluma back into the river, and as he set about this, another flood washed it back in the river. So he got his £7,000 for nothing. The Paluma washed up about here. This crazy shot was taken over here at Kangaroo Point, in front of what is now the Night Owl convenience store. Yep, that's a yacht that you can see. To find this place yourself, you want to come to this hotel, and then you want to walk out onto the road this way. Yeah, I reckon that this is the place that the yacht came up to. It would have been about, as I understand it, about here. From what I understand, it and the other yacht were saved by sailing them into this street. But make no mistake, whilst this video has been somewhat jovial, the truth of the matter is that this flood was an absolute disaster. Of the 90,000 people or so who called Brisbane home, a third were left homeless. If you've learnt something new, please like and subscribe. Cheers, thanks.